Hey guys, Brooke here, and today it's going to be nice, quick, simple. I just want to talk to y'all about the difference between contrast and dehaze and show you like a side-by-side comparison of that adjustment. So, like I said, no reason to be fancy smashy about it. Let's just do it. All right, we're just going to do it to this photo. Nothing has been done to this photo except for importing it. It is what it is, how it was shot. So, first up, contrast. When you add contrast to an image, it is adding contrast to the whole image. So the areas of shadow, areas of highlights, both are going to get more intense for better or worse. So you can add some, you can take away some, whatever you need to do to adjust your image. Sometimes I like to use contrast to kind of like crispen up and like harden the edges of like the image, if that makes sense, or like the lines without having to add clarity, because sometimes clarity can get kind of grungy. So that's a way that I do use contrast sometimes. That's, maybe a little outside of the box, but you can use it in conjunction in any which way or form to adjust your images. I don't use contrast very heavy-handedly because it is a much more intense adjustment, or like I do very minuscule, like subtle movements with contrast, typically speaking. Okay, now dehaze. Dehaze is contrast's cousin, or maybe like second cousin, some form of relation to it, because it does still contain contrast's DNA. But here's the dehaze. So dehaze is only going to affect the areas of an image that lack contrast. So when I add dehaze here, I could take it up to 25, and you can see it is much more subtle of a movement than it was when I was doing contrast. But I also sometimes I like to use dehaze to soften images and get a nice little like filmy glow. So that's a little trick I use to like create that like softer look, is do the reverse of dehaze. But right now we're talking about dehaze versus contrast, so I got sidetracked. Okay, so if you take it up to 25, and then we're gonna select both of them, go here, and then hit C to compare. And you can see both are set to 25, but the dehaze is a much more subtle change to the image. Contrast is much more intense. So that's why I use dehaze to add like a little bit of an oomph and a pop to my images without making it go like overboard color-wise, right? Because sometimes contrast, it's a bit intense. It's a bit too much. And that's when dehaze really, really does the trick. All right, guys, so I hope that helped. I know, nice and quick. It's pretty straightforward, nothing complicated. I'm just putting this out there for those of you who are like looking for what the heck is the difference between your contrast and your dehaze.